lecture, which I will devote to the Greek philosopher Plato. And the reason I want to give special attention to Plato is because he was one of the few philosophers, maybe the only philosopher, who thought deeply about the role love plays in education. Both Plato and his teacher Socrates believed that the highest kind of learning, call it humanistic or philosophical learning, takes place not through acquisition of facts and information, but through a passionate devotion to knowledge, or to what Plato called the matter of philosophy. The matter of philosophy, to pragma auto in Greek. Now furthermore, Plato believed that such knowledge, call it knowledge of a higher order of being, could not be acquired through reading or writing, which don't have the power to generate the living sparks that ignite true insight and knowledge, or so he believed. In his famous seventh letter, Plato suggests that paideia, or education, in the truest sense of the term, takes place in the live presence of teachers and students, and above all, in the spoken words that are exchanged between them in their long, ongoing conversation with one another about the matter itself. A conversation, synousia in Greek. And in one of Plato's dialogues, Socrates refers to a, quote, living and animate speech that comes forth from the soul of a teacher in real time. And this kind of speech, he declares, is not written on dry papyrus or parchment paper, but is, quoting, written on the soul of the hearer together with understanding. Living and animate, those are the key words. So too are soul and understanding. For Plato, understanding comes alive in the student after long and devoted study in the presence of teachers and other docents. The life of the mind is first and foremost life. It's important to understand that. It is the student's animate selfhood that receives the seeds of knowledge. And a teacher may possess those precious seeds. The Greek word for seeds is sperma in this case. Yet those seeds will not grow and flourish unless the soil in which they are sown, namely the student's mind and soul, is fertile enough for knowledge. And Plato, being an elitist, believed that only a minority of the young had minds and souls fertile enough for the kind of knowledge that he called philosophy. In any case, the important point here is that the student's living self is the spiritual ground in which a transpersonal, universal truth must sow its seed, and love is the agent of its flower. Now, the role of the teacher in Plato's view is to awaken love by enabling the student to see the radiant beauty of invisible things such as justice, truth, ideas, laws, institutions, and mathematics. To see beauty in abstract things means to understand their higher, disembodied reality, and education for Plato is a long process of learning to view things with the mind's eye, of learning to see the beauty of what reveals itself, again, to human understanding. It's not by chance that the Greek word eidos, usually translated as form, means the outward shape of something. And likewise, idea in Greek means form, or more precisely, the look of a thing. Now, let me mention another important Greek word here, and that word is philia. It is one of the Greek words for love. The Greeks had three words for love, different kinds of love: philia, eros, and agape. Philia lies at the root of the word philosophia, philosophy, or love of wisdom. The essence of the pedagogical revolution that Socrates, and in his wake Plato, brought about in Greek education was the introduction of love into the learning process. What was unusual about Socrates in the context of Greek education, where professional sophists taught for wages, is First, he did not accept money for his teaching, but more importantly, he loved each one of his students personally. Or better, he loved that formative place in the student's soul where love of wisdom could take root and germinate. Now, Plato himself was one of the beneficiaries of Socrates' love for his students. And if later in life Plato felt the need to found a school, his famous Platonic Academy, which was the first institution of higher learning in the ancient world, it was because he felt it was necessary to create a self-enclosed environment that was hospitable to philia, where the life of the mind could flourish amid the fellowship of those who joined it. And I believe that the European, British, and American campus is, in many respects, the direct descendant of the Platonic Academy in that conception of a self-enclosed environment where fellowship and, let's say, the promiscuous circulation of love would enhance the learning process. So now in the third and last part of my lecture today, I'd like to share with you some of my own views about the connection between love and education.